Something is very wrong here. Do you see it? If you look closely, you'll see that Johnny Cash and a Mesa Boogie are in the same room together. This Mesa DC-5 came in. DC-5. DC-10 is a much larger object, doesn't quite fit on the bench. This Mesa Boogie dual caliber DC-5 came in. No power, no signal. Let's see what's up with that. I don't see anything horrible in here. I mean, well, nothing horrible that's not factory. Don't be alarmed by these. Some caps, the plastic doesn't come up all the way to the top. That doesn't mean that these are necessarily bad. 1995 date codes on the atoms. This board is covered in that nasty stuff that Mesa uses that attracts dust and gets fugly and dirty. And when you solder to it, I think this is the rotten fish board, not the cat piss board. I'll find out later. I did see one what the fuck thing on the other side. We'll get to that. Checking the fuse here. It's a 2.5 amp. It is not blown apparently. It looks visibly good. Let's see how it measures. All right, the fuse is good. Maybe the owner put a new fuse in trying to troubleshoot. Let me show you the what the fuck on the other side. The thing that's a little bit worrisome to me. I don't know whether someone replaced this output transformer or it was just loose. You can see that screw there is at a pretty good angle. Maybe it didn't quite match. The epoxy is an unkind thing to do. Let's really, really hope that nothing's wrong with this transformer, because getting this out now and changing that out properly would pretty much approach the value of the amp. None of the tubes have lost vacuum, or I don't see any obvious sign of heat damage. Let me flip this around and apply power and see where we're at. All right, verified that the speaker it came with presents a load of 8 ohms. The fuse is good. I'm powering it up using my current limiter. Let's take it out of let's power it on, leaving it in standby. And we have no bulb. That could just be that the bulb is burnt out. Oh, no, it is lit. Okay, that's a good sign. Though I want to show you something real objectionable in this amp. Let me power it back off and I'll fix it. This connection on the lamp is pressed up against the chassis. That's not particularly good. So let's help this thing not short and kill its power transformer. All right, back to powering it on. Tubes are all heating up. Let's take it out of standby. There's output if I hit the speaker position. That 3-way switch for mute, speaker, on, silent recording is real noisy and intermittent. And for a moment there I had output signal. Let me power this off again and take a look at that switch. All right. Went down the wrong path on that. See how it's labeled mute, on, speaker, silent recording, like silent recording's on. I misread that because it looks like there are 3 positions, and the switch was initially acting like there were 3 positions because it was filled with dirt. Now I can tell that it is a 2-position switch, and it is switching properly. So we are getting that thump in the output, because at the moment that you switch it, the input of the phase inverter has no load or connection to anything. When it's to mute, it's at ground. When it's on, you're getting the output of the preceding stage. So the mute is working, and the noise we were getting is because at the moment of switching, there's no connection because it's a bad design, very easily fixed bad design. You just have to think about it for 5 seconds. And then in on, we are connecting, but there's no signal coming to it. So before I worry about anything else, let's roll some preamp tubes and see if the sound magically comes back. All right, pull this stupid thing back. Here are the preamp tubes. This is the noisiest one. Let's put it in standby so we don't have a horrible pop. It is a JJ Ruby rated for high gain, And it may be fine, may just be a really dirty connection. These things get filthy inside there. Let's put this other tube in place there as a test. Change this other one as well. It's also a JJ labeled Ruby high gain. The ones I'm putting in here temporarily are groove tube labeled Sovtex. Notice we have Ruby labeled JJs and groove tube labeled Sovtex. Ruby and groove tubes are not actual tube manufacturers. I have signal now, I think, based on the noise floor. Let me plug a guitar in and confirm that. So far, it's looking like the owner got very, very lucky. New preamp tubes in place, and the amp seems to be working okay. Anywho, I'm going to get in there and jiggle some wires and test connections, because if that output switch was that dirty and stiff, there might be some other dirty, stiff old things in here, and that's a subject for a different channel entirely. But while I have the amp, I'm going to see if the owner would like me to at least find order the correct knob for this, because these plastic shaft pots break very easily, and the knob, besides being cosmetic, does give that some protection. And I'll also ask if he'd like these new horizontal mount clip ends for the graphic EQ sliders, so that's not as crucial. But I think he got very, very lucky in that. Just too bad preamp tubes. Possibly the lamp was shorting out against the chassis, so he thought it wouldn't power on, and just some dirty stuff. About 5 minutes after I thought I was done with the initial diagnosis, I noticed this amp suddenly was making a lot of noise, and there it goes. It's randomly changing between the channels. Right, I have it set to the rhythm channel. It keeps defaulting to the lead channel. If I go back to rhythm, it'll go for a second, and then it'll switch back, and you'll hear the relay click. So I need to look at the low voltage supply that powers the relay. I suspect we probably have some bad caps. Could be a bad regulator. I need to look at the DC-5 schematic, and I will do that, and then we'll have a plan of attack. Well, I found the problem. It's very, very unsexy. This resistor is not actually soldered where it ought to be, which is the other side of this resistor. They broke the trace and pad on the other side of the board. Let me try a Hail Mary on that and just see what I can do. Well, the owner got very lucky. Channel changing is working as normal now and will stay that way, though this is not how it will go out into the world. Fortunately for the owner, the trace that it was not connected to, that it was supposed to be connected to, is the same as this exposed lead of this resistor, which is 100 ohm 1 watt. So I've just got it tack soldered in temporarily. So it's going from a diode to this lead. I'm going to remove this resistor and remove that red wire and try to clean a lot of the corrosion off this exposed lead and do the same resistor, just kind of vertical right here from the diode metal to the metal lead of this resistor. And once it's done, put a bead of silicone. Is it my preferred repair? No, but the proper way to do it would be to pull the board, and to pull the board on this would require disconnecting and then reconnecting about 150 different things, and would end up costing the owner an arm and a leg, and we need all those we can get. So I'm going to do a less than ideal but still mechanically reliable repair and get this amp back out into the working world, because sometimes that's all you can do. Well, the genius who did the epoxy also did this, I think. Anyway, because he cut that lead so ridiculously short, I've got to order another one of these. It's not a value that I keep in stock, I don't think. I'll go through my stash. If I've got to order one, it's it's a $1.50, $2 part with $8 shipping from the best vendor. So, congratulations, Mr. Genius. Just adding to the delay in cost for no reason. Anyway, I'll get one and life will be good again soon.